Hey, I'm posting a video response to a food article. So the food article took, what's the most overrated food, meat-based food, and what's the most underrated meat food. So my biggest critique of this, well, first, the coolest part about it is that finally someone calls out the filet mignon, says the filet mignon is overrated. Which I, for years, have been saying the filet mignon tastes okay, not great. Everyone, oh, fillets are so good, they're so tender. There's no fat on them, so they don't taste that good. They're overrated. Great job from the chef article. But, so they all say, well, it's tender, but there's no fat, so it loses the flavor. I got pissed off because one of the chefs said, well, porterhouse is overrated. Porterhouse, in my mind, is not overrated. It has a bone in it, so it gets good flavor from the bone. And it has a decent amount of fat if you tell the butcher to keep the fat on the meat. That makes it taste good. Okay. Here's one thing that pissed me off. One of the other chefs goes, well, grass-fed beef's overrated. I want some flavor. I want some fat on my beef. But then he says the underrated food is rabbit. Okay, so like 4 of these chefs all said rabbit's underrated, blah, blah, blah. Oh, everybody eats rabbit. The French eat rabbit. We're cool. Like, rabbit's so awesome. Rabbit's okay. It has decent flavor. It's a little more flavorful than chicken, but it's not that freaking good. It's not better than grass-fed beef. Give me a break. But the other thing is, all my beef is grass-fed beef that we get. I always tell the butcher, keep a nice layer of fat on everything, because even the grass-fed beef, it's going to be a little leaner, but the fat actually is more flavorful. It's higher omega-3s, more beta-carotenes in it, and the flavor is solid, So I completely disagree with the grass-fed beef thing, but my problem is, he's like, this same chef, I want my beef to have some fat in it, but then he picks rabbit as the underrated meat, which has almost no fat in it, and subsequently doesn't really taste much like anything. It's similar to chicken. So that's my rant. It ain't the same guy. Oh, nobody asked for grass-fed pork. Yeah, dude, you have no clue about the food industry. Tons of people love pasture-raised pork. Tons of people look for pasture-raised pork because they know that the pig takes on the flavor of their feed. If I'm getting a pig that's sitting in a commercial farm, stuffed with antibiotics, he's not gonna have any flavor. The meat is white, no flavor to the fat. It's just a bland, almost tastes like chicken. But if I get pork from my brother's farm, North Mountain Pastures, or from our pigs, they're outside, they're eating walnuts, they get a nutty flavor. Or my brother finishes them in some apple orchards sometimes. They take on the flavor of the apple. It's a dark meat. The fat has really, really good flavor. And then the pastured pork brings upon good flavor to the meat. So for this chef to say, oh, nobody asked for grass-fed pork, well, yeah, they do. And people ask for grass-fed pork or pasture-raised pork. People ask for pasture-raised chicken because the fat is a darker yellow, has more flavor. So, what's the moral of the story? I think grass-fed beef's awesome. As long as you're asking the butcher to keep the fat on it, it'll get a decent amount of flavor. My most underrated piece of meat, I actually like the old Delmonico. I like that because it usually has a decent amount of fat in it. It's usually thick, so it's rare when I cook it. Most overrated chicken in my mind is the most overrated piece of meat. I actually, I raise 350 chickens every summer, but it's bland. It's okay. I don't mind it here and there, but it doesn't taste. I'd rather have cheeseburgers every day than chicken. So this is just a little food rant. I just read this article this morning, so I figured I'd go on and talk about it. If you have any more questions about, what cuts or what flavor, where does a ham come from on the pig or whatever, send me an email and maybe I'll have some more food rants.